Now we are looking at symmetry. So in our day-to-day life we see many structures, objects, figures which are evenly placed. We say them perfect, and sometimes we say that they are so symmetrical. So all these points to the symmetry. But what's in the geometry termed as symmetry? This we are looking at. So let's take two figures here. So if we draw this figure and cut down in a half, we'll show this with dotted line. Okay, so as you can see, as you can observe that for for each sorry for each figure, one half on one side of the dotted line is exactly identical exactly identical to the other half, to one half on other side. So this half is exactly identical to this half, so divided by the dotted line, and they are identical in a way. These both halves are mirror images of each other. This makes them symmetric, and the line, so the line which divides a given figure into two identical halves is known as symmetry, or is known as axis of symmetry, or line of symmetry. So this is our line of symmetry, which divides this figure into two identical halves. And as the line of symmetry divides so in other words, line divides, so we must say that, let's correct the statement. So in other words, if line divides a given figure into two identical halves, the figure is said to be symmetrical around or about that line. So then we must say that figure is symmetrical. So if a line divides given figure, here a line divides the given figure into two identical halves. So it is symmetrical figure, and it is symmetrical about that given line, which is we termed as line of symmetry or axis of symmetry. So there are some symmetrical figures we can see. Symmetry of a line. So if we draw a line like that, going infinite in both directions, and how we show it is going infinite with these arrows. So this is a line. So we can say, we will first write a line has infinite length. And hence it can be considered that each line perpendicular to the given line divides the line into two identical halves. So we can consider this, and we can have this perpendicular like that. We make it dotted. So this is a perpendicular line on the line, let's say line L. So this is perpendicular, and we consider that as a line has an infinite length, we consider that this perpendicular divides the line into two halves, which which will consider that they are equal in length. So this is the line of symmetry, and this is how symmetry of a line looks like. Then we see symmetry of an angle. Symmetry of an angle. So if we draw triangle like this one, then this two, and we say a symmetrical line. So this angle has actually one line of symmetry that passes through in between like this. We will make this dotted. So here this is the main angle, but axis of symmetry or line of symmetry divides this angle into two equal angles. So this is a symmetry of an angle. So we can say an angle with equal arms has one line of symmetry, which is along internal bisector of the angle. So a line, such a line which divides this angle, this main angle, into two equal angles, that's the term internal bisector of the angle, to divide equal angles. So this makes this angle symmetrical, and this line as a line of symmetry. This is the context of symmetry of an angle. Now we'll see some more geometrical figures. Symmetry of an isosceles triangle. Symmetry of an isosceles triangle. Isosceles triangle means a polygon with three sides, where at least two sides are equal. So if we draw a polygon like this, and we say that, and the line from the middle, we termed it as a median. And we show these two sides as equal, and the triangle is ABC, and this line segment is AD. We make this line segment dotted. So here isosceles triangle has one line of symmetry along, which is along median. So this is the median, and here our median is AD. So this line of this is the line of symmetry of an isosceles triangles, which make isosceles triangle identical, and which is termed as line of symmetry, and it lies along the median of the triangle, and here our median is AD. Now we see symmetry of a kite. So how will it look? So symmetry of a kite. No, this is also not coming. We need this one, and Yes, this can be termed as kite, and we make this line dotted. One more line which will form as an axis of our axis of symmetry. We'll make that line dotted too. Okay, so this is a figure of a kite. We as A, B, C, and D, and here kite has one line of symmetry. This is our that line symmetry along its diagonal, and in this figure the diagonal of a kite is BD. So this line along the line along its diagonal of a kite is line of symmetry. What this means, this line cuts the kite into two identical halves, making it a symmetrical figure, and the line itself then termed as a line of symmetry.